Hello, viewers. My name is Xander Phoenix, and the following audio is recording of the Glenn Beck Show, September 13th, 2013. I'd also like to mention Freedom Farms Foundation. Check us out on Facebook. What we're trying to do is set up self-sufficient communal farms to help the homeless, people without jobs, or those who are unable to find jobs. So please enjoy.
The fusion of entertainment and enlightenment. This is the Glenn Beck Program.
So the hapless, discredited, and really unwatchable Christiane Amanpour was on CNN last night. She is back with her tail between her legs, and I believe she actually has a tail, as their chief international correspondent. Yesterday,
because she left CNN for a while and went to ABC.
She had
this week with ABC or something.
She had delusions of grandeur that somebody would actually care what she had to say, and she could go on, network television and people would watch. And I mean, she's absolutely unwatchable with anyone with any kind of common sense whatsoever, because they know that she is a slanted hack. So she suddenly cares about all use of chemical weapons. She suddenly cares about how we must get involved in Syria. There is a reason why I am so unbelievably passionate about this. And she has a reason to be passionate as well. Here she is last night on Anderson Cooper.
But can you separate? I mean, don't you, need
to? That's what being in public office and holding positions of power means.
They're speaking of the atrocity in Syria, obviously, and can you separate the 100,000 that have already been killed from the 1,400 that were killed with chemical gas?
You can't be moved.
You have to be a moral man in an immoral society.
I can barely contain myself at this point.
Well, bad.
How many more times do we have to say that weapons of mass destruction were used?
Listen carefully.
And as bad as it is to decapitate somebody, it is by no means equal. We can't use this false moral equivalence about...
That's a false moral equivalency.
That's a false moral equivalency. Let me ask you something. Stu. If I took you and you had a way to die, would you say that, well, let me give you something instead of making something up? Let me give you this. I just read this because we have Steve King on here in just a little while. Here's a 93-year-old woman. She is from Iowa. She was raped and murdered. An illegal alien burst into her house. She's 93 years old. Took her, dragged her, and raped her, and then killed her. Do you think you would rather have your I know you wouldn't want your grandmother to die in any way, but would you rather have your grandmother be walking down the street or even wheeling down the street, and all of a sudden a gas canister goes off in front of her, and she goes, and she foams at the mouth, and it is a horrible, horrible death. But she goes and suffocates from this gas? Or would you rather have her have an illegal alien in the middle of the night break into her house, terrorize her, rape her? The last thing she sees after her rape is some monster on top of her, killing her. Which would you rather have your grandmother do?
I hate to create a false equivalency here,
yeah,
but they both seem pretty freaking bad, and they both would end in the same way, and that they both would end in a dead grandmother. So I don't know. I think there's a good equivalency there. I think that there's actually a pretty good one.
So they're both dead.
They're both dead, and they both died in horrific, horrible ways. And there is probably more torture leading up to it in the scenario you
So let me give you another scenario.
And same with having your head lopped off.
Let me give you that scenario. You're snatched off the street. You're bundled up, thrown into the back of a car. You're held hostage. They torture you, or if you're a woman, they rape you repeatedly. Then you get to hear them make their Allah Akbar videotape in the other room, sharpen the machete, get it all ready, then put your head down in front of them while they make the other videotape, and then they behead you.
Yeah.
Or would you rather have the gas canister fall in front of you and you have a horrible, horrible death for 5 to 10 minutes?
And working in this industry, we've had the distinct displeasure to watch several horrible videos that such as the decapitation one you're describing here. And usually, I don't know, these guys might not be experts. Usually, it's not just a clean cut. Usually, it takes them a while to get through.
No, I think Christiane everybody that she's talking about, the decapitations, everyone she's talking about was a clean cut.
Really? Because it seems like there's a lot of sawing that goes on to get that job done. Yeah. That is not a pretty process.
Yeah, we had one example, and I forget which one it was, but they said that it was not a sharp.
Okay.
So
what that means is that yes, the chemical weapons death is absolutely horrific. No one's downplaying it. But so is being decapitated.
Yeah.
How do we have to make this freaking argument?
Murder is murder. I don't care how you do it. Murder is murder. If I take a bunch of people and I put them into a chamber and I set them all on fire, is it worse or better? Or is there no equivalence to putting them in a same chamber and then dropping Zyklon B in there? Murder is murder. And I'm a guy who has stood in the chambers of Auschwitz, and I have seen the claw marks. I understand what it is. Murder is murder. It's like these people who try to make this case on hate crimes. What the hell are you talking about? This 93-year-old woman who was killed, I'm sorry, that's a hate crime. He didn't hate her. No, I don't know that he did. But he certainly didn't love her while he was killing her and raping her. So there's the first thing. I'm so sick and tired of this moral equivalence crap. But don't even get me started.
Yep. If I could just quickly point out, we've now done about 15 minutes, and we've only done about 15 seconds of audio from Christiane Amanpour. Yeah. That's how fired up Glenn is about this clip.
Because I have a reason, and I will get to that reason after this quick message. Today is Friday. More on Trivia is coming up in just a little while. And today is the day. I feel it in me bones that Pat is going to break that $1,000 mark. $1,000.
No, just to spite you, I'm not going to.
To say the president's name?
I hope you spent $10,000 on this so-called celebration.
If I would have spent $10 million, it'd be worth every
I'm going to try to
second.
get you to spend $10 million on this celebration before I say one word about it.
Oh, it's going to be so fabulous.
Let's see how fabulous
and really what it is a balloon drop and some confetti and just some celebratory, and we might even have cake. I don't know. You won't. But we might even have cake.
Well, wait a minute.
Just
if
to
there's
celebrate.
Cake, I might say it right now.
Okay, so now here's the rest, or as much as I can get through before the next rant.
What's going on right now? They tried to do it in the Second World War. They tried to do it in Bosnia. They tried to do it in Rwanda, and they're trying to do it now.
Stop. They tried to do it? They tried to do it in World War II? I'm sorry. They tried to do it in World War II? Let me say that again. They tried to use gas in World War II? I'm pretty sure they did use gas in World War II. And by the way, it wasn't 6 million. It was 6 million Jews. It was 10 million. 10 million. So don't tell me they tried to do it in World War II. And you notice maybe it was this list of things they tried to use gas. They tried to use gas in World War II. They tried to use it in Rwanda. They tried. Where was the other one she said? They tried to do it someplace else. But she didn't mention...
Just like the administration.
The Kurds.
Yeah.
She didn't mention the Kurds, where they actually did use gas.
8,500 people dead.
Who was she for? She was for Saddam Hussein. She was for Saddam Hussein.
Oh, she wasn't saying this about going into Iraq.
No.
She couldn't care less about the Kurds and what happened with Saddam Hussein.
No.
Poison gas, sarin gas meant nothing to her as it applied to Iraq. Nothing.
But wait. There's more.
Moral equivalence. And the president... Wait just a second. Excuse me. The president of the United States and the most moral country in the world, based on the most moral principles in the world.
Oh, God. Stop it. This is the first time she's ever said anything like that. This is so typical. When it helps their argument... They're all of a sudden all about American exceptionalism, just like the president in a serious speech the other day, where he's talking about how exceptional America is, when every other time has been, well, yeah, we're exceptional, like Iceland is exceptional. Everyone thinks they're exceptional.
So hang on just a second. Are you getting to the point to where you want to do 10 back-to-back tweets on this witch?
I'm getting to that point. I am getting to that point.
Because there's more.
Principle that United States rests on cannot allow this to go unchecked. Cannot allow this to go unchecked. And I'll tell you what.
Yeah, tell me.
President Clinton, 15, 16 years later, is still apologizing for Rwanda.
Stop.
So she's saying we should have gone to Rwanda.
Yeah. Why that one? Why that one? Let me ask again, why that one? We were for Rwanda. Nobody wanted to go into Rwanda. Why didn't anybody want to go into Rwanda?
And Darfur.
Yeah, why? Why would nobody do that? You know why? No way to win that. But Syria, all of a sudden, everybody is all up in arms on 1,400 people. 1,400 people. There's been 100,000 people, at least, that have been slaughtered. 100,000. Now, why were those 100,000 people slaughtered? Those 100,000 people were slaughtered because people like Christiane Amanpour were all celebratory about the great Arab Spring, destabilizing the Middle East, which some of us with common sense, which would be 1, 2, 3 that I know of, we said don't do it. It will destabilize the Middle East. Instead, our president got up, along with the support of people like Christiane Amanpour, and they heralded the great Arab Spring. And our president said more people should rise up, and they did. And they did in Libya. Is it better or worse in Libya today? I don't know. Ask the beheaded Christians. But let's not have any moral equivalence. Beheading is no big deal. Ask the people who have been beheaded in Syria. Ask the people who have been beheaded in Egypt. Oh, no, we don't want to talk about that. We won't show you any of that. We just have to tell you about the 1,400 people, not the 100,000 just in Syria alone, but the 1,400 people. And while we're here, something else that we're not going to talk about, the 1,400 people, that whole report came from, guess who? A woman who is an activist for the rebels. That's who compiled this report. Oh, and one more thing that the mainstream media won't tell you about. She's also somebody who lied on her resume. She said she had a PhD, and she doesn't have a PhD. So, but we can't have a moral equivalence. I mean, why say a liar that would lie on their resume and falsify who she was, would falsify numbers when she's completely neutral, except for the fact that she's an activist for the rebels.
And she was fired for that, by that lying, by the way.
Fired. Yeah, but that's just one lie.
Yeah, and just again, while we're here, the 1,400 number is a number that no one else seems to have. Not even the human rights organizations that are dealing with Syria, who constantly overestimate the amount killed because they want people to act on the human rights. They have a number that's 1/3 of the number that our president keeps touting.
And now we're hearing that the number 1,400 includes many who were killed in a conventional way with the bombing.
Just bombs.
Yeah, but you cannot equate those people that died on the same day at the same place with conventional weapons.
Although the administration is
these
equating
people,
that.
These people breathed in sarin gas and then they foamed at the mouth, and they had a horrible, excruciating death, unlike those people that might have been hit with shrapnel and then had an excruciating time trying to drag themselves someplace for help, and then they just bled to death. You can't.
No, you can't make that.
You can't make that equivalent. You can't do that. How dare you even attempt to do death equals death? I can't even. So here's the thing that I'd like to say about Christiane Amanpour. Christiane Amanpour is the biggest fraud I've ever met, and I've held my tongue since I've worked at CNN, but I'm not going to hold my tongue on her anymore. Christiane Amanpour, she ran the Israeli desk or the Arab desk or the Middle Eastern desk or whatever the hell desk it was. All I know that it was in Jordan. It couldn't get further away. I mean, you could have had it actually in the Ayatollah's office and give me the news about Jerusalem. But I don't think she was actually at the Ayatollah's office, although it might be. I don't know. Do any of her relatives still live in Iran? And where were the relatives of Christiane Amanpour? Where was she? Please check this out because I don't know. Was she for the rebels in Iran or not for the rebels in Iran?
She may have been. I don't know.
So she is somebody who has a distinct anti-Israel, anti-Western approach. And how do I know? Well, let's just say that while we were at CNN, we might have made sure that we could back up our claims in case we ever had to back up our claims. But Christiane was one of the people that was instrumental in making my life a living hell, trying to tell the truth about Islamic extremism. We had to go through her stupid Arab or Israeli or whatever her desk was, wherever it was. We had to go through her people and have every single word vetted of people that were actually teaching people how to hate the Jews on television. We had all the videotapes. We had all the translations. And she made our life a living hell. But, of course, they weren't teaching anybody how to use gas against the ugly, monkeys and pig-like Jews. This woman is so anti-Western and so anti-Jew. It is remarkable that this woman has any credibility at all. And for her to go off, let me see. Just help me out, Christiane. Bring out the tapes of you wailing over the Kurds. Bring out the tapes of the wails on the Kurds. If you have them, then I owe you an apology, but I doubt they're there. And by the way, we will have this argument again because they will use gas on Jews and Israelis in Tel Aviv. They will kill people. They will kill the Israelis. They will kill and round up anybody who is Jewish and anybody who is a Christian. They're doing it now. So I'm afraid we're going to have this conversation again. Here's what the conversation is really about, Christiane, that you can't seem to understand. Just because you are not for war in Syria doesn't mean you don't care. You want a false equivalence, there it is. I don't care? Of course I care. Can you make people's lives better? Can you do anything to actually help? No, your kind of help, the kind of help you deliver, leads people to the slaughterhouses. See Syria, see Egypt, see Libya, see Tunisia. That's your kind of help. Now, if they happen to start gassing people in Jordan, we have a good guy. We know who the king is. We have a good guy to help. Let's see you get all upset if they start to lob chemical weapons over into Israel. I doubt you say the same thing. You're a fraud.